Assalamu alaikum students. Hopefully everyone is all right. Yesterday we discussed about the structure of the stomach as well as the swallowing action. So today we will discuss the function of stomach. Before studying the function of the stomach, let me recall the four type of the epithelial cells of the stomach that have been we discussed yesterday. The first type is the surface mucous cell that will be present here. These surface mucous cells has the ability to produce the mucus. Okay, so these mucous cells will produce the mucus, but you have to keep one thing in your mind when you write the mucus cell. Check the spelling. Here is OUS, but when you write about the secretion that is done by the mucous cells, then you should write MUCUS. Okay, so that is the spelling. Check. The first type of the cell is the mucous cell, and they produce the mucus. And second type is parietal cells that has the HCl production. And third type are called chief cells, zymogen cells, or we call it principal cells, and they secrete the pepsinogen. So this one is second type, this one is third type, and the fourth one is enteroendocrine cells, or simply you can say endocrine cells, and they has the ability to release the hormones, to produce the hormones. So these are the four different types of the epithelial cells of the stomach. So when we talk about the gastric glands, so basically these are the gastric gland here. So the gastric gland is further divided into 1, 2, 3 types of the epithelial cells. Is it clear? If we talk about gastric gland, it doesn't mean that it is something else. That means we are discussing about one of these type of the cells. Now let's study about the function. The digestion of the stomach is divided into two types. Okay, as we have discussed in the in the oral cavity, we divided the digestion process in the oral cavity into two parts. Same way we will divide the function of the stomach into two types. Number one is mechanical digestion. Mechanical digestion, that means in this digestion, in the oral cavity, this mechanical digestion is assisted by the teeth, but here it is assisted by the muscles. So if you recall again this picture, I am showing you this picture again and again because it is very important. See, we discussed in the starting of alimentary canal that this alimentary canal has 4 layers. Okay, serosa, muscularis, submucosa and mucosa. But the muscularis layer of the stomach is different while the remaining one. Why it is different from the remaining one? Because it further consists of 3 layers. While in the remaining parts of the alimentary canal, we will discuss only longitudinal and circular muscle layer. Okay, so keep it in mind, there is an additional layer, oblique layer present in the muscularis. So this muscularis layer is very important in the function of mechanical digestion. So the mixing action of the stomach wall, what it allows the mechanical digestion that occur in the stomach. So muscles that are in the stomach that are used for the digestion purpose, these muscles are smooth muscles. Okay, so muscles that are used for the digestion purpose, for the churning action of the contraction and relaxation in the stomach, is the smooth muscles of the stomach, and these smooth muscles produce the wave of contraction, and this causing the mixing, or we call it churning action. churning of the food. So the efficiency is enhanced by here due to these movement of the muscles. So the alimentary canal, the remaining other regions have not such kind of the efficiency due to the 3 layers of muscles. Okay, so in the stomach, the layers of the stomach are 3 as compared to the remaining alimentary canal parts. The churning action of the stomach, or you can say the mixing wave, mix the bolus. What is the purpose of this mixing or churning? Is for mixing the bolus of the food with the gastric juice. So this mixing mix the food with the gastric juice. Gastric juice is mixed with the food. Now what we call the food, when it enters into the stomach, we called it bolus. So bolus enter into the stomach, and now when it leaves the stomach, we will not call it bolus, we will call it chyme. So chyme is basically a liquid. The meaning of the word chyme is juice. So when enter the food into the stomach, it is a ball of solid, you can say solid ball of mass, not too much solid, but is a semi-solid. But when it leaves the stomach, it is the liquidify. We called it chyme, and the meaning of the chyme is juice. So what about the chemical digestion? That was mechanical digestion, in which there is no chemicals we discussed, but here in the chemical digestion we will discuss about the different kinds of the chemicals. The secretion of the stomach. Secretion of the stomach consists of, first one is mucus, second one is hydrochloric acid, HCl, third one is gastrin, and fourth one is intrinsic factor, and fifth one is pepsinogen. Okay, so we are going to discuss one by one all of the secretion. The first one is mucus. We discussed is secreted by the mucus cell. Is secreted by the mucus cells. So the mucus cells secrete the mucus, and the nature of the mucus is it is viscous. Mucus is viscous. What the meaning of viscous? It is not the liquidified, it's not watery, it is little bit thicker. So it is thicker and it is alkaline in nature. The pH is more than the acidic one, that is more than you can say that 6 to onward. And second is the layer of the mucus that is secreted by the mucus cell. It lubricates and it protects. That is the nature and function of the mucus is lubrication. Lubricate. So it provides a smooth surface for the movement of the liquid food. So it lubricates as well as it protects, because its nature is alkaline, so it is protective in nature. Protect the epithelial cell of the stomach from the damaging effect of acid. We know that acid is producing inside the HCl. Okay, now let's talk about the HCl that is produced by HCl that is produced by the parietal cell. Parietal cells. Parietal cells, where they are present? They are present in the gastric gland, Okay, they are one of the type of the gastric gland, parietal cell. So parietal cells that are specifically present in the pyloric region. If you recall the stomach, let me draw the stomach. Okay, here is the cardiac and this one is the pyloric end. The two ends we discussed in the stomach, cardiac and pyloric. The pyloric end that has the gastric gland, the pyloric region where the gastric glands are present, and the parietal cells there, they secrete the intrinsic factor. What they secrete? They secrete the intrinsic factor as well as hydrochloric acid. Okay, so parietal cells that are present in the pyloric region, they produce the intrinsic factor as well as HCl. Now we'll discuss the HCl first and then we'll discuss about the intrinsic factor. HCl that is produced here has the low pH and it causes the even the environment of the pH, it causes the low that is between the 1 to 3, but the most effective one is nearby 2, that is very close to 2. Okay, so no doubt the hydrochloric acid that is secreted in the stomach, secreted by the parietal cells, there is no effect in the digestion, but there are some important function it is performed. The first one is it kills the bacteria in the food, and the most important thing is it lowering down the pH of the stomach also causes the stopping the activity of salivary amylase activity. And what is the function of salivary amylase? That means digestion of carbohydrate is stopped due to the HCl. So in stomach you can get an MCQ for that. Do the stomach also digest the carbohydrate? No, it does not, because here the pH range is 1 to 3 due to hydrochloric acid, and this hydrochloric acid stimulate the stopping the salivary amylase. So low pH causes the killing of bacteria, also stopping the salivary amylase activity. And third one is it also denature the many proteins. So many proteins are denatured due to the action of the low pH. So the proteolytic enzymes can reach the internal peptide bond, and it provides the proper pH environment for the function of the pepsin. So when the proteins are denatured, then that means this enzyme can enter the internal peptide bond, and it provides the proper pH for the function of pepsin. What the function of pepsin is? Digest the proteins. How it is digested? With the help of the HCl. That's all about HCl. Now let's talk about the intrinsic factor. Let me clear the board for intrinsic factor. These are wherever you will read about the word factor means protein. Okay, so don't be confused yourself. Intrinsic factor, these factors are basically released by the parietal cell, and is a kind of a glycoprotein. It's a kind of glycoprotein. I told you factor T. Okay, so keep it in mind, it's a protein, but it's a glycoprotein. That means it's not a single compound, it's a conjugated compound, and it binds with the vitamin B12 and make the vitamin that is easily and readily absorbed in the ileum. So this intrinsic factor is important for the formation of the protein. Okay, that makes the vitamin more readily absorbed in the ileum. This vitamin is it does not make by the parietal cell, but it helps the vitamins to absorb in the ileum. As we know that these are the vitamins are the compounds, chemical compounds that our body needed from outside the environment. Our body is not preparing it. Okay, so certain bacteria in some organisms inside the body, they are producing it, but in our body no vitamin is produced except vitamin K. We will later on discuss in the large intestine. So glycoprotein, it is an intrinsic factor produced by the parietal cell. Function is absorption, making the environment for the readily absorption of vitamins, making vitamin to absorb easily. Simple, absorb easily. Okay, next thing is pepsinogen is left and gastrin is left. We will discuss first pepsinogen and then we'll discuss the gastrin. If you recall, again here chief cells, okay, these chief cells has the function of the production of pepsinogen, but this chief cells that produce the pepsinogen, it is in the form of packets. So let me zoom this cell. So I will tell you pepsinogen. The cells that produce the pepsinogen, okay, is pepsinogen. It's a form of is in the form of packets. Okay, that means is a solid form that is produced by the chief cells. Okay, we can say the small granules they produce, and then it releases with the help of exocytosis. And where it is released here in the this part. Okay, so it is the pepsinogen when it reaches here, and we know that parietal cells releasing the HCl. So HCl when is intact with the pepsinogen is readily changed into pepsin. So only HCl is not doing the killing of bacteria, but also it is helpful for the conversion of the pepsinogen into pepsin, as well as this pepsin help the digestion of protein. So we can say that the activity of this pepsin is maximum at the pH of 3 or less. So this pepsin work at the rate of pH 3 or less than 3, and the function is catalyzing the peptide bond, changing into smaller chains, smaller peptide chain. That's the function of pepsin. The last one is gastrin. The last one is gastrin. Now let's talk about the gastrin. Because it is a hormone, so that means it will be associated with the nervous system. So now we are going to discuss about the role of nervous system and gastrin hormone, because both are interrelated. That's why we are going to discuss both together. How they are both interrelated? Because nervous system send the message to production of gastrin hormone. How much the gastric secretion produced in each day in our body? Can you imagine 2 to 3 liters of gastric secretion are produced every day, and they are regulated by our nervous system as well as our hormonal system. So both systems are regulating the gastric juice releasing activity. The hormones that regulate the stomach secretion, that is pepsinogen, HCl, we discussed it, right? These secretions, the hormones, are secretin, are gastrin, and gastric inhibitory polypeptide, inhibitory polypeptide, and the last one is cholecystokinin. Cholecystokinin. So let's talk about, we'll discuss it one by one. Okay. Whenever we eat the food and or we can smell the food, what happens? The stimulation is going towards the brain. So stimulation of the tactile receptor that are present on the tongue, on the taste bud, during the process of even chewing and swallowing, and the pleasant thoughts if the food is very good. Okay, these stimulates the you can say the smelling or tasting centers that are present in the medulla, and this causing the secretion of gastric gland, gastric secretion. So how this all related, let me write it here again. You are eating the food, okay, food is eating, and taste buds are, or tactile, you can say tactile receptors. These receptors can feel the taste, okay, tactile receptors when you are doing the chewing and swallowing process, as well as the good thoughts. So the thoughts are very effective as well. Now these factors, eating and tactile receptors as well as thoughts, what they cause? They cause the stimulating the centers that are present in the medulla of your brain, and this causing the releasing of the gastric secretion. Okay, so the neuronal stimulation of the stomach mucosa result in the secretion of acetylcholine. The stimulation of the neurons in the stomach mucosa causing the secretion of acetylcholine that stimulate the secretory activity of both the parietal and chief cell. Now see back here in the picture, I will touch you again. Here the cells that are connected with the blood capillaries as well as it is connected with the nervous system, these mucous cells, okay, this you can say stomach mucosa, this layer. This stomach mucosa causes the stimulation of the neuron, and here in the neuron it releases the acetylcholine, and this acetylcholine again causes the effect here, that means releasing the secretion from parietal cell as well as from the chief cell. Understand? Here also it causes the effect on these cells as well, endocrine cell, from where it causes the releasing of hormone. What it is? It is gastrin. So gastrin is released into the circulation and travels to the parietal cells, where it stimulates the additional gastric juice if the food is continuously going. First stage is the mucous cell stimulation, and then it goes on to the parietal cell and then chief cells and then endocrine cell as well, where the gastrin is produced, and after that gastrin will stimulate the parietal cell, so on and so on. Okay, so the continuous secretion of the gastric juice, you can say it is initiated by the presence of the food in the stomach. The first stimulus that the stomach will receive is the distension of the stomach. That means stomach should be open in such a way that the maximum food can enter, okay, as much as you are eating. As well as primary stimulus is the distension of the stomach wall, and second one is the presence of the amino acid. Presence of amino acid. Presence of amino acid and peptides, amino acid, or you can say peptides in the stomach. That causes the this is the primary stimulus. Now peristaltic waves, what we have discussed in the oesophagus, is continuous here. So peristaltic waves continuous, staltic waves continue here, and it is more powerful than the mixing waves and force the chyme near the periphery of the stomach towards the pyloric sphincter. So these peristaltic waves are more powerful and it moves the chyme to the pyloric sphincter. Pyloric sphincter. The pyloric sphincter is not always open, it's usually closed, okay, due to the mild contraction, tonic contraction, and each peristaltic contraction is very strong and it forces the small amount of chyme through the pyloric opening and into the duodenum. It's just like a water filled balloon, and you just prick the balloon with the help of a needle, and you just squeeze the balloon, and when you squeeze the balloon, it's kind of a little stream of the water, or whatever you put the material inside the balloon start coming out. It's the same way the chyme that is liquidified is a watery in nature. Small amount of the chyme enter into the duodenum, that is the first part of the small intestine. So let's talk about the small intestine now. I will discuss the small intestine in the next video. Hopefully you understand it. Take care.